What are we talking about tonight? Tonight we're talking about, I'll start with this and then I'll just kind of jump into the slides. But tonight we're going to get into, if I could hit things correctly on my computer, working with buyers and sellers. So in your mind, based on everything you've learned so far, what would working with buyers and sellers mean to you? What would you expect from this?
Writing
What is it?
contracts, listing properties,
Okay.
consultations. I don't know, showing houses, anything.
Okay. Something. Andrew must have been like eating or something like that. When I ain't showing you all the steak that I made. I got you. Sorry. I feel you. Next time, share though. All right. So yes and no. So we're gonna get into move some things around here. And oops, I'm gonna move this over here so that I can move this over here. All right. Um, we're gonna get into transaction series. So it's what are you doing during the transaction? You've already or continuation of the transaction series, I should say, right? So we already talked about winning with the buyers and winning with the sellers. So now it's like, what are we doing when we work with them? What are some of the key factors we need to do when we're working with them? Here we go. We got more people coming now. I feel a little bit better about this now. All right. So switch these screens over for you guys. Obviously, we're going to get into the typical TCPA stuff for you guys. Make sure that we are being compliant. If you're not familiar with TCPA, please research it, go to your leadership, speak to them, find out what they've implemented inside of the market centers. Basically, in short, if somebody is on the do not call registry, you cannot call them without express written consent. Can spam is, it will cost you more in a fine straight off the top, and it's actually kind of easy to comply and it's also easy to violate. And what I mean by that is no misleading subject lines, right? Like I got one today from somebody, actually a KW leader, and technically it falls in that criteria. I ain't mad about it. You ever get those emails that have the RE, semicolon, then it's like implying that they're responding to something you sent them, which isn't true. That's a false and misleading subject line. So it's easy to violate, but it's also easy to comply. So make sure that you're complying with TCPA, can spam, and of course your fair housing and everything like that. So as I said, we're going to get more into the transaction side of this, and we're going to talk about success with clients, success with buyers, success with sellers, success with other agents. That one's going to be a tough one, I promise you. And then we'll do a quick little recap on this. Um, the more interaction I get out of you guys on this is actually kind of a short series or a short section in a way. It can be, or it can actually go pretty quick. It just depends on the questions you guys end up having out of anything. So keep that in mind as we go through here. Virtually every top producing agent that we worked with, and this is a quote from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, um, has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. They have a servant's heart and place their buyers or sellers' real estate experience above all else. When it comes to serving your clients, your fiduciary, which it's going to come up on the slides, and we've talked about it in the past, is your fiduciary and your functionary. And your fiduciary is the highest level. It's also your legal level. You have to put the client's needs above yours at all times. And yes, an unpopular opinion that I'm going to tell you guys right now, that may include you not getting paid in a transaction from time to time. I know you don't want to hear it, yet where we are post settlement with NAR and the Sitzer Burnett, if the money's not there, the money's not there. I've actually had agents even before all of this that have actually foregone their entire commission because it was about getting the deal done. That led to referrals, which we're going to talk about tonight as well, getting referrals from people. He made his money back plus some based on the family and friends and that he had from another person. So your fiduciary is to the client, and you have to comply with that at all times. All right. So let's dive in on some of this. Great agents. Communications is number one. This is the top thing we need to do. And there's a lot of different ways that this falls into play. It is part of the um, email, text. How are we communicating? When are we communicating? So it's an all encompassing, and we're going to talk about each of them as we go through the evening. Um, Lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry. Totally have been, the mothership came and picked me up this past couple of weeks, and I've been out of the world into AI. So I'm still trying to get back there to your all people here. So a minute. You're going to provide strong foundation for a sustaining relationship. Your goal is to make sure that whatever you're doing, it is creating, nurturing, growing, and locking in that relationship. Because the whole thing that we're going to do and what we do is relationship based. Um, you're going to set and manage expectations. We're going to go into these deeper. Don't worry about it. Proactively throughout the transaction, meaning your client should never call you and go, "What's going on?" It should always be you calling the client, going, "Hey, got an update for you." Like I owe my seller an update tomorrow, so I've got to call and give him an update tomorrow on what's going on and have a conversation with him about what we're going to do for this coming weekend. I don't think I'm going to make a change to our marketing plan. I'm not seeing the value in making that change, but we'll see. I'll talk to him and see what he wants to do. I'm probably just going to keep going the path we're going. Um, Create peace of mind. What does that mean? What does it mean to create peace of mind in your clients? How do you create peace of mind in your clients? Don't leave them wondering. That's a good way to put it. That's one way. I don't have a direct answer for you because it's going to come down to you and how you run your business. It's this is a thought provoking aspect. What creates peace of mind of the client, and each client might have a different need that you have to meet. Right, that's going to give them the peace of mind. So we can go back to a disc assessment. It's disc assessment where we're talking about a high D personality, your I's, your S's, and your C's, to where the way they view things, the way they process information, what's going to give them peace of mind. Somebody might need hard fact numbers, somebody else is emotional based. So you're going to make your adjustments on that peace of mind based on who your clients are. All of this is going to enhance your credibility. The more you do this, the better things are going to be for you. We've talked about this before. You guys probably remember 3 levels of service: purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary. What's the purpose part? Purpose part is master of services. You have a clear understanding of why they should hire you and why you should hire them as a client. Keep in mind, by the way, I don't think we talk about it enough. When you have a consult with somebody, and you let me know, Brian, you're the one that's got more time in and experience in all this. So you let me know what you think. How would you feel as the consumer if your agent sat across from you and said, "Today we're going to decide if you're going to hire me and if I'm going to hire you"? You have that right, right? What's the benefit in doing that, or the not the benefit in doing something like that? Watch it, guys. The keyboard king is in the room tonight. Makes it look like you're not desperate. And that's one way to look at it. I'll agree with that. What's another way to look at it? There you go. There it is. Remember, I'll bring this up again later on as well. Remember that book I gave you guys on the first night, Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say? Who went and got it and read it, by the way, out of curiosity? Because everybody said they were getting it and reading it. I want to know who actually did it. Don't go to the keyboard now, Andrew. That's not going to work. He's going to hate me because I see his arms move. So here's the thing: those magic words, that's what that does. The magic words do that same thing that Brian said. It creates the, well, hold on a minute. Why wouldn't you hire me? Like I'm the seller. You need me to make money, right? Going back to what Andrew said about, well, I'm not desperate. So why wouldn't you hire a client? What's something that would stop you? What would make you walk away from a buyer or walk away from the seller? I know some of you are like, oh, never. You will, trust me, you will. Different values. What else? I feel like we have a competition now. Who can type the fastest? Ready, set, go. Difficult to work with. Different expectations, right? Unrealistic expectations. There's somebody that believes that my home is here and it's actually here, right? Maybe there's somebody who's violating fair housing the entire time, right? Telling you not to bring certain people into the home. It happens, right? I actually had a renter one time. I was meeting her. My investor selected her, met with her and her mother to pick up the deposit, I think. And I went to their house to meet them to get them to sign some stuff and pick it up. And the mom made completely, like out of nowhere, uh, as far as to the point that I literally almost gave the walked away. And I even like I done. And the woman that was renting was like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, I'm not tolerating any of that. I mean, I still rent it to the lady, but still, mom was not, she never should have thing. Value proposition. We've talked about value proposition before, right? We did our mission statement exercise. We talked about making sure that you guys get your value proposition as well. And the best agents can do what with their value proposition and their mission statement? They can articulate it to anybody at any time. They know how to share it. They know how to show it. And then, of course, your fiduciary is this is your highest level of service. Okay. We talked about this fiduciary functionary, dual agency. This one, I struggle with having a conversation around this one because dual agency means something different in every state. So, what's dual agency? Do you even have dual agency in your states? Thomas has dual agency. Andrew, dual agency. Okay. Brian, yes. All right. With your dual agency, if you note on the screen, it says when an agent represents both the buyer and the seller. For those of you that have, I'm assuming Thomas can do this because the way he's shaking his head, in your state, can you legally represent both buyer and seller? Can you carry two agreements? Thomas says yes. Thomas, where are you at again?
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. Anybody, any of your California people in here? Because I know California can do this too. Okay, Andrew. So you can represent both sides as well. So in my state, I can't represent both sides. And also, the dual agency isn't really with me, it's with who? The broker. It's not with me. So in my state, I can't represent both sides. Can I facilitate the transaction? Can I represent my seller and have an unrepresented buyer come in and do all the paperwork? Yes. Very, very, very hard line on what I can do and can't do. And if I cross that line and give that unrepresented party a vibe, a feel that I did something that represents them, then I just violated all my agencies and I can be in legal trouble. So in my area, I coach agents not to dance this dance unless you've been in the business for a really long time. And even then it can be tricky. I would tell you now because I think the time frame is pretty good. I sold a mobile home strictly by Google Translate because I didn't speak Spanish and I still don't speak Spanish. Don't and I facilitated. I represented the seller and I facilitated it with the buyer. Don't ask me how I did it and got away with it. I have no idea, but it worked. And I don't know if I ever really want to do something like that again. But you still have your fiduciary responsibility. And the question I would have for you folks that can represent, how do you fiduciary represent both sides? How do you split, all right, I'm talking to the seller, I'm gonna do everything for them. Now I'm gonna go over here and talk to the buyer, and I'm gonna do everything for them. I don't know how that works. Good for you if you can do it though. I think there's some perks to it. I also just think there's some slippery slopes to it. So with that said though, know your rules in your state. Um, yes, we can do designated agents as well. So this is what I mean when I say represent. You, Thomas, and represent both buyer and seller directly. Okay. For me, broker can have dual agency. And with that broker dual agency, then we do assign a designated agent. So if you're like on a team or you have a buddy, which we're going to talk about later as well, then Thomas could call Brian and say, "Hey, I got an unrepresented buyer at my open house. They really want to write an offer. Can you take care of it for me?" Right? That's the best way to do it in my mind. But again, know your laws, your rules, your area, and what that looks like for each of you, and then follow those. Um, at the end of the day, you still got a fiduciary responsibility to do what you need to do. That's what that just comes down to, plain and simple. So understanding what you can and can't do is key in representation, and it's always going to impact your credibility, your whatever that word is, reputation. Told you, I've been speaking computer for like 5 days now, and it's just like killing me. Um, I'm not even gonna try. I can hear it in my head, but the words aren't going to come out. You know what I mean? All right. Questions, thoughts around any of this? For those that are just joining us, welcome. We appreciate you and your real estate agent time. All right. So let's talk about setting expectations. Well, we're going to talk about a few different things with this. So I did bring this up. I think it's still up in participation guide. So success with clients. If you go to in your participation guide 16.5, this is going to be in there, and this is where you can fill this part out if you want to do this. Otherwise, just take your notes and follow along accordingly, I guess. So on that page, we're going to get into the success guide. What's the first thing in the success guide is set expectations. What does that mean? We kind of touched on it, but let's go a little bit deeper. What does it mean to set expectations? And who should set them?
They can understand what the client want and how we can work with them.
Okay. It's a broad way to put it. And yes, we want to know what they want and how we're going to meet that how we're going to do that. What's another aspect of expectations? What are we talking about? We're saying setting expectations. Setting your own expectations for the client. This is how I work. There you go. So that's it. I want to know, here's how I do business. Here's what I'm expecting from you. What do you expect from me? So there's going to be a two-side expectations we need to set. I need to set expectations on how I do my business, what I'm expecting you to do. When I send you information, which we're going to talk more about it as well, because it fits everywhere. This what I'm going to say. When I send you a document, it isn't you're just going to sit there and go, I'll get to it later. I need you to have urgency around it. So it gets into time is of the essence, if you will. So what are we going to do about me sending you emails or text messages and things like that? And you responding to them. Okay. What do they want from you? How often do you want to hear from me? Like I said, I'm going to reach out to my seller tomorrow. We already had a conversation, a text message on Monday. He had a question, and then I got to check in with him tomorrow to find out how I'm going to proceed this weekend with some stuff. So, how often do your clients want to hear from you, and how often do you want to hear from them? Not just time of day and what way to communicate, which is part of this process, just how often as well. Number two, review the transaction process. To me, this is huge. I go to buyer consultations and I go on listing appointments with some form of calendar. So, for example, you see up here how this got a timeline on it. It can be this simple. It can be this just generic. You can go a little bit deeper and you can actually have an actual calendar done out if you want to do a full calendar. However you want to do it, but you want to go over the timeline of the process. I have a seller I meet with, right? And the seller says, I'm ready to go. And they sign my listing agreement right there at the table. I'm like, all right, great. That means I need 2 weeks to get you on the market. I need to get my photographer in, I need to get my stager in, whatever your process is to get them on the market, the soonest I can do it is 2 weeks. Okay, period in the story. Every house I get is 2 weeks. Now, for me personally, I can get houses on in about a week because my photographer is pretty like ready and available for me. But what are you doing? What is your listing process? Um, Buyers, what is your process with buyers? Right? We're not going to meet today and go look at houses today. That's just not realistic, to be honest. So I'm going to get you out in the next 3 to 5 days, and here's why. This is how the timeline works. Then once we start looking at houses, here's what happens next. When we find the house, we make the offer, here's what happens. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm doing my photography. I'm going to put you on social media. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have showings here and here and here. Oh, and when we go under contract, here's the next process. So make sure you go through the transaction process with them. Know what you want your process to look like, because all of us are going to do a little bit different, right? There's the generic. We know house goes in the market, house goes in MLS, showings happening, offer received, offer accepted, escrow opened, all the little stuff in the middle, and it closes. Like that's like the most shortest basic way it goes. Same thing with a buyer. Buyer comes and signs my buyer agreement. I show houses, they write an offer, and it closes. What's all the little things in the center? That's part of the expectations too, is inspections and all that other stuff. So set time expectations. This falls into time is of the essence. So let's say, what is your buyer doing? When a house hits the market, depending on your market, right? I think everybody knows we're in a shifty market right now. Some of you are probably starting to really feel a buyer's market. Some of you are feeling a balanced market. Some of you are still living in a seller's market. Technically, I live in a seller's market. It just doesn't feel like it. It just doesn't. But my buyer still needs to show up to my house on time. Even though I'm a little bit longer, we can't just go on Monday going, hey, I found a house, I really like it. Great. When do you want to go out? I don't know. Can we go like Saturday or Sunday? Yeah, we can go, but you're not going to go see the house because it's probably going to be under contract by then. So again, going back to your expectations and going through the timeline, now we have to set the time expectations, okay, about responding quickly, acting quickly, not overzealously, right? And you're not, I would hope you're not on the clock 24 hours a day. Set your own time expectations on that, which falls into your time or your communications preferences, which is coming up. Right now, we're going to talk about your document expectations. Before I get in document expectations, questions, comments, thoughts on anything we covered already. How are we feeling? What are we thinking? Besides, I'm blurry again. I told you the aliens are interfering with it.
I actually have a question slash advice from you.
Okay.
So I just got a notification in my command, and it looks like one of my potential leads, who's a buyer, he requested a home valuation.
Okay. Awesome.
So if this were you, what would be your first move?
Is it through the app?
Yeah.
So they went in, so they downloaded your app, they went in the app. For those that don't know, in the app, they can list their home in there, and then there's a button where they can say they want a home valuation. Your
Yeah.
first step, in my opinion, is you're going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, Andrew, it's Matt. I got your request of a home valuation. I need to get some information from you so I can actually, figure out what's right. When's the time we can talk? Because now we're going to go back into, we're going to get into this very topic. Now we have to get into our needs analysis, because now I want to know, why are they asking for the home valuation? What are their thoughts? More importantly, I want to know more about the house, because if you don't know enough about the house or you haven't seen it, I need to know what kind of updates you had. Was the roof replaced? You got a new hot water heater? What's going on with the property condition wise? Because I can't see it, right? It's our number one objection that we use as agents when people go, well, Zillow said my house is worth $950,000. And I'm looking at it going, you're gonna be lucky if you get $750,000 for this house. Let's be honest with one another, right? And the reason why that doesn't work is because Zillow's never set foot in your house. I haven't set foot in your house yet. So I would set an appointment, a phone consult at the very least. You know, hey, let me ask this, have you seen the house? Do you know the condition of the home?
So I've been trying to help him find a house for like a month,
Yeah.
and
As a
this is
buyer,
it's a buyer. So this I haven't clicked on it. I'm assuming it's his house. So
did
and
you
last
know he had a house to sell?
they're one of they're retired. They're not in a rush. They're looking for their forever home. So I've been calling him like every week, sending him properties and talking about properties. Like we made an offer on one house. We almost went under contract on another one, and I haven't talked to him in like a week, and then he just did this. So I'm like, oh, I guess he's wondering what his house is, which
Okay.
I guess if I probably
All
should.
right. Yes, and bring this back up when we get to the needs analysis, okay? Because this is be a great feed into the needs analysis conversation. But to answer your question, the first thing I'm gonna do is reach out and go, hey, when do you have a chance for us to talk? Or hey, when can I come by and walk through the house? Because I'm assuming you haven't seen the home. So I don't know
Yeah,
what the condition of your home is. I want to come check out your home so I make sure I get your evaluation correct.
yeah, and I met him at my second open house and kind of stumbled my way through this. So like I've been trying to retroactively create a system that I should have
Right.
had in the beginning, but I'm like failing as I go. So now I'm like, okay, and I gotta figure
That's
out.
the way we succeed.
Yeah,
All right, needs analysis. We can dig into that scenario for you and everybody else on the needs analysis because that's probably the step you kind of missed is a needs analysis, and I'll talk about that more in a few minutes. Um, Set your document expectations. In short, go over your documents with people. Don't wait to the last minute and all of a sudden throw an appraisal waiver, an inspection report, or whatever the case may be in front of somebody. When you're meeting with the sellers, let them know, like, hey, obviously, here's all the documents you have to fill out. I don't know about you guys, but I got like so many freaking documents that I have to do for a listing that drives me nuts. And I think half of them are pointless and they duplicate one another. Whatever. I'm not the lawyer, so I can't change that. And I still have to go over all of them. I also need to let them know, and this falls in line with your timeline. Look, they're going to do an inspection, most likely. When they do that, we're going to get a document that tells us what inspections they're going to do. Then here's how that works. Now, I wouldn't get into great detail. I would just say something like, they're going to do the inspection. They're going to send me a notice that says everything's fine. They want stuff fixed, or they want a credit, or they want stuff fixed and a credit. And we have a certain time frame to respond to all that. I'm not going to go into detail right now for you because you're probably not going to remember because we're going to be a while before we get under contract. When we go under contract, we'll revisit it. So set that expectation of there's a lot of documents and there's a lot of things we need to do. Be ready for it. Okay. Plan for the future. What somebody comment in there? I think Andrew, you said something like plan for the pain points, right? This is the same thing. Plan for the pain points in documentation as well. Communications expectations. I kind of touched on this earlier. Figure out not just how they want to communicate. Are they a texter? Are they prefer a phone call? Do they just want emails? Do they want you touching them, with a phone call or email once a week? Like, here's what's going on. Buyers, you're going to talk to them nonstop, most likely, as long as they're active. If you've got somebody kind of like what Andrew just described, where like, they're not in a hurry, so they dabble in it here or there. You're going to have to initiate those touches on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, depending on what fits that person. If you got somebody who's really looking, you're probably going to hear from them on a regular basis, getting text messages with, I found this on Zillow, I found this on Redfin. That's fine. That's not a problem. Unless it's outside of your working hours. There is absolutely nothing wrong. Like I said earlier, I hope you guys aren't working 24 hours a day. And I know we have dual career people on here as well. I'm hoping you're not working 24 hours a day because you're already putting 8 hours in at the regular job. You don't need to come home and put 8 hours in real estate. So set expectations that you only work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., whatever that looks like. Dual career folks, You don't have to openly go out and say, hey, I'm dual career and I cannot take these phone calls during the daytime because I work. It doesn't have to be set up front. If the person gets to be a little bit more demanding, then you might want to go, hey, this is not my only job. I'm in the process of learning this to transition out. There's a great way to say that, so it doesn't sound weird. I know, because a lot of people get, well, I don't want to tell them I'm working 2 jobs, then they don't think I'm taking real estate seriously. They will when you tell them I'm transitioning. I just haven't done enough business yet to be able to transition out to support my life. Okay. Depending on the client, again, if you're having the expectations conversation, there's nothing wrong with bringing it up in the beginning right away and saying, hey, I got a regular full-time job. I will be available by text. I can answer text and emails because I'm in that stuff already at my regular job. Phone calls during the day, that could be a problem. So I only do phone calls between 12 and 1 because that's when I go to lunch. So I'll call you during that time. Is that good for you? Or don't even tell them that it's a dual career situation and like, hey, due to what my schedule looks like, I will answer text messages in a reasonable amount of time. You will have people, and I'm sure we all have this person in our life, when they send a text message, they sent 3 or 4 more because you didn't answer fast enough. You're going to have clients that are going to do that as well. Set the expectations that, hey, I'm going to come to that commentary because I like what you said. We're going to build off of that for a second. Due to my schedule, I'm available all day long, text and email. I only do return phone calls at a particular time of the day because of the way my schedule is. So you can even say that without saying your dual career. So Terry, you just said, what a relief. I would definitely take this advice. This dual career thing is very hard right now, but I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, like you guys need to figure out what's going to work best for you so you can make the transition into real estate if you're going to do it full time. And if you're not planning to do it full time and you're going to keep it as a secondary income, which is amazing as well, find that balance and figure that out. And again, honesty and transparency is going to win everybody over every time. Plain and simple. Does everybody agree to that? Is that fair to say? I mean, stop and think about it. If you told somebody that you were a dual career agent and you're working 2 jobs, then, and you do it the right way, right? Again, there is a right way to say it. Then you're going to get more respect from them because you're a hustler. Some people might frown upon it, right? I didn't go to college. You went to college. I went to college, but you went to an Ivy League college. I might get judged based on that. If I'm being judged based on that, guess what? Remember what I said earlier? We're deciding today if I'm going to hire you, if you're going to hire me. I might not hire you because you're judging me on something, right? We listen, we do not judge. All right. Set contingencies. What does that mean? I think you guys can pretty much tell probably from the picture on the screen. Yeah. Set contingencies, meaning if you're going to be unavailable or you're going on vacation or something like that, and you're not going to be in town and there's a good chance your clients are going to go see a property, build a plan around that. Let's pretend all of you right now, what is there, 10 of you on here? Let's say all 10 of you are 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, no, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 of you. Sorry. All 11 of you are in the same office, right? All of you should be partnering up right now, which means all of you that are not in the same office, which not all of you are, go find people you can work with. Find the same people. Find other dual career people, other people that are looking for business. Because when you go on vacation, you need to be able to say, hey, Terry, it's Matt. Look, I'm going out of town this weekend. I'll be available by phone, but I won't be able to show you any properties. And don't worry, I got Brian on standby. So I'm going to do an introductory text with you and Brian. He's another agent in my office. We work well together. We cover for each other. But I'm going on a little out of town excursion and just getting away for the weekend. And he's going to help us out if something comes up that needs to happen. He'll be able to go show you properties. So be on the lookout for that text message. Now, I also need to make sure that I'm going to Brian and saying, hey, Brian, let me tell you about Andrew. He won't pick the phone up and call. He's a texter and an emailer because he just loves that keyboard for some reason. Okay. But when you get in front of him, he's a great guy. He'll talk to you. Matter of fact, he might even talk your ear off. So just be ready for it. Here's the things that I know about him that I want you to take and keep in mind. Kid glove him or be aggressive with him. Give him the insights on the client so that when Brian covers for me, he can treat him the way that I would treat him. Right. Now that can be a challenge too, because Brian and I might have two different personalities. So partnering up with people on personalities is important too. But build your contingencies in case something comes up, even if you're sick, right? Like I know Erica last week when she was sick. Maybe she's still out because of that. I know I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna start building a plan in case something happens, rather than the last. Oh, I can't do it. It should be. Hold on. You should have that ride or die agent to help you out in your market center. So make sure you have somebody that can do that for you. Set up to date market expectations. What does that mean? What does that mean? I feel like I'm doing all the talking tonight. So maybe break out the crickets. All right, set expectations on market conditions up front. This is basically we are in a shifting market. So we need to make sure that we're letting our clients know that today the interest rate is this. Tomorrow it may go another direction or it may go up, whatever's going on. Today, where you're looking, we're seeing homes sell very quickly. And all of a sudden, a week later, you're like, man, things are sitting for a while, or vice versa. So you being in touch with your market and knowing what it's doing and how it's responding to the consumer is super important because you want to let them know, hey, like right now, who knows what the expectations are, or predictions, I should say. I won't say expectations, what the predictions are for 2026. If you don't know what they are, you need to know what they are. Since you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. Potential rate cuts. There it is. We're going to see interest rates drop, is what they're saying. So, what you're doing today is setting you up to be super, super busy come 2026. Is it going to happen in January? Probably not. But I think we could have an incredible spring market as long as the rates actually change. If they don't change, we'd have a problem. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Andrew's got a buyer. Right now, he's talking about. I don't know. I'm going to make an assumption at this point, just for context. Let's say Andrew's buyer wants to buy and is hesitant about buying because of interest rates. And then hears, oh, well, interest rates are going to drop after the first year. I'm going to wait till after the first of the year. Is that a good plan, a bad plan, or neutral plan? What say you? Andrew says bad plan. Anyone else say bad plan? I thought they chose not to rates as of this morning. That's today. We don't know what's going to happen in 2026. We're talking about what's going to happen in 2026. NAR and a lot of the economists are saying that it's going to drop. But aside from that, let's just say that they are expecting to drop in 2026, right? 6 months down the road. Should that buyer wait for the interest rate to drop, or should that buyer buy now? Home values and interest rates don't move at the same time. Andrew says buy now. What do the rest do you think? Buy now, buy now. Okay, great. Why buy now? It's a trick question in a way, but why buy now? I agree, buy now. Why buy now?
Interest rates go down, the market's going to get flooded with buyers, and then it's going to push the price of the home up.
So that's one way to put it. Yep, you're going to have an increase. In short, you're going to have an increase in units in general, and you're going to have more competition. And here's what a lot of agents don't think about is, oh man, he's right, rates are gonna drop, maybe we should wait. I'm just gonna stay in touch with them for the next 6 months. Well, now all of a sudden that buyer is now in competition because everybody came out. Right now, they don't have as much competition. We also don't have as many houses available. What's going to happen though is when the rates drop, we could see an increase or a decrease in home pricing, or it's going to stay the same. And we will definitely have an increase in buyers out there. So every offer you make, you're going to be competing at least against one, if not 2 or 3 others. If you buy today, even at today's rate, guess what you get to do when the rates drop? Refinance. There's my introverts. Sherry said refinance. Terry said tree finance. I don't know what a tree finance. I'm kidding. It's a typo. I know. I'm kidding. I'm teasing you. We're going to refinance. That's the conversation you got to make sure that you're having with these people, because they're not thinking of the long game. Your fiduciary responsibility comes in the long game. What can I do that makes this right for them now? Now, somebody might go, but you know what? I really don't have the money to do it right now. Like, it would probably make more sense for me to do it at the 6%. Okay, fine. Let's talk about that. Actually, I want you to talk to the lender about it, but let's get deep into the finances, because that's going to dictate where we should be at and what we should be doing. All right. All right, set expectations seamlessly with your KW technology. I'm not going to get into deep in this. Sarah's coming back tomorrow. Shannon had your name stuck in my head. I was going to call Sarah Shannon. Sarah's back tomorrow, and she's going to go over the tech stuff. Learning how to use your technology to manage your transactions is going to be the life changer that you need in everything that you do. You can manage it on the go as well as on the desktop. So let's talk about 3 steps to gaining referrals. Now, I'm going to put into this a little caveat, if you will. And my little caveat on this is going back to dual career people. Part of your referral business is you giving referrals to other agents. If you're a dual career agent, time is valuable to you more than most, because you already have a job, you already have responsibilities. Putting real estate into your career and into your life is going to be hard. It can be done. So mastering your time is your first thing. Your second thing, when I talk about getting referrals from your SOI and from clients, I want you to consider, until you get to where you need to be financially to free up time to do real estate full time or closer to full time, find agents to partner with and give them the referrals. So, for example, I'm a dual career agent, and I got all these people at work that I talk to, and they all want to buy homes. They also know I work a full time job, right? So, going back to Terry, where you were like, "Oh, I love this advice. Let me give you some more advice." You can be their confidant, the person they're going to talk to. They're going to openly or not question whether you're going to be able to assist them or not, because you work with them. They know your hours. Terry, you put in so many hours. How are you going to help me buy a home? Guess what? I'm going to help you buy a home because I see you every day at work. I want to be able to talk to you every day at work. And I've got this great partner of mine, Brian, who handles all of my clients for me, because he is doing this full time. So I've partnered up with him so that I make sure that the people that I know and that I care about get taken care of properly. So I'm going to work hand in hand with Brian, but I'm going to be the one that's going to see you every day. You're still going to deal with Brian for showings and all that stuff like that. I'm not going to interfere with it. And when we're at work and you have something that pops up, you can always just come and ask me. And I'll have to call Brian and say, hey, I talked to Terry today, and Terry asked this question. Here's what I said, go do this. Because if you give the referral to somebody in the market center, that's what you get in return. A referral, it's mailbox money. Brian, you've been doing this for 25 years. If somebody came to you and said, I want you to be my referral partner, I got a plethora of people that want to buy and sell. I'm dual career on health time. Will you pay me 25% on every one I get you? Brian's going to go, matter of fact, you give me enough of them, I'll give you 30%. Don't take that. Brian's like, no, I'm not giving above 25%. I mean, look, if I was getting at least one lead a month from you because you had that many people that you knew and you just didn't have the time to care for them, I'd do more. Now let's talk about how you get those referrals to give to Brian or give to Andrew or give to me here in Maryland that I take on a regular basis if you'd like to. Shameless plug. What do we do to get those referrals? Well, we got to provide value. Again, your value is you already know them. They already know you. You like each other. You trust each other. There's part of your value. You have an established relationship, right? One of the biggest challenges that we face as salespeople, in short, right? We're cold. If I come into something cold, I got to get to know you. And if I don't start off on the right foot, guess what? I'm probably going to lose you. Or I'm going to start to work with you, and one of us is going to be like, you're out. I can't do this anymore. I don't like you. Okay. In this case, I already know these people. So my value is already knowing them. Then you're going to ask them for help. Now, I mentioned this earlier. Remember Phil Jones and those magic words? Phil's got a phenomenal way of doing this, and he's role played this multiple times for us. And it's even in the book. May I ask you a favor? When's the last time somebody asked one of you for a favor and you said no? I'm going to say, what's today? I'm just kidding. But if you approach it with the aspect of, I'm in a business relationship, let's say I'm helping Shannon buy her house or sell her house, whatever the case may be. And here's a scenario that I use quite often. Well, first, let me lay the groundwork. When should you ask for a referral? Let me ask that question first. What is the right time to ask for a referral? Nobody knows.
For example, if I'm in one state and I know somebody that go to move to other state,
Okay.
maybe in that moment I can ask for referral, like a other agent that is in other state and can help me with my client.
Okay. That's one way. See Shannon put in here after closing. There's actually a really, really simpler way to look at this, but who's got another way to what is the right time? It's a tricky way to ask this, but when's the right time to ask for a referral? Nobody's wrong. Yeah. You're kind of never wrong because there's a two-part answer to this question. One, all the time. Like you never not ask for a referral. I don't care who it is and what you're doing. The real answer, though, is the person that you're talking to, more so if you're talking about the clients. So if I'm going to give you the scenario with Shannon. You always ask for a referral when the person that you're servicing is at a high point. They're in a good mood, something went well, that's when you ask for the referral. So Shannon and I meet, I'm going to sell her house, I'm the agent coming in, we sit down, we talk, I do my entire listing presentation. She's completely blown away about what I do and she loves it and she can't wait to get started. She signs my listing agreement right away. I'm like, great. Do I ask for a referral right then and there or do I wait? What do you think? Is that an opportunity to ask for one? Yes. It's perfect because I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go, Jenny, you said thank you for the greatest advice. Absolutely can't say yes. What is that about? Or Terry said that. I'm sorry. Jenny, you said yes. Terry, what's that great advice part? Out of curiosity. And then I'll finish my thought. Maybe we'll pop up in chat. All right. About the referral partner. You're welcome. Yes, it's a great time. And there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So in this scenario, I would sit there and go, Shannon, I'm super excited and thank you for, entrusting me and partnering with me in order to get your home sold. Can I ask you for a small favor? Now Shannon's gonna be like, well, sure, absolutely, because I just left her on a high. She's just in this really great mood. I'm like, you don't need to do anything with it right now. Who would you know? Who might you know? There's several different ways you can say it. Who might you know? Or can you think of anybody that would benefit from everything you just agreed to do with me? Obviously, you see value in what we're bringing you, and I'm super grateful for us to give this value to you. Is there anybody you can think of that might be looking to sell as well that I should be talking to? Now, odds are Shannon's probably going to go, oh man, not off the top of my head. And I'm like, no worries. Just think about it. If you think of somebody, let me know. Right. So now we go through, we're doing photos, we're doing whatever. At some point, at the next high point, whatever that next high point may be, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, hey, Shannon, I'm assuming you hadn't been able to do what I asked you to do or complete my favor. You find the right way to say that. Some people are going to instantly go, oh, God, that's right. He asked me. Have you ever been in that scenario where someone asked you to do a favor and you didn't do it? You ever go, oh, shit, I got to do this right now? And you just start looking like, who was it? I know I talked to somebody and just willing to give something at that point. That's great. I'll take that too. Some are going to go, what? I asked if a favor of you, if you would, oh, yeah, that's right. No, I didn't get a chance. I haven't talked to anybody lately about it. You're like, no worries. Just keep it in the top of your mind. I'd love to take care of them like I'm taking care of you because obviously you appreciate what we're doing. So anytime your client's in a high part, ask for a referral. That's it. That's the simple way to do it. And then reward them. Now, I get kind of sketchy on this because there are certain rules in place about, giving out gifts and things for business and all of that. Find out what the rules are for you in your area and how your broker feels about you doing it. We all do it in some form or another. If there's somebody you already know, like Andrew and I are buddies, we hang out, we talk on a regular basis, and he calls me up and says, yeah, I got a guy at work that wants to sell his house. Can you help him out? I'm like, yeah. Well, the next time we go out for drinks, I'm like, hey, I got you tonight because you sent me, Fred. And Fred, I'm going to put his house on the market. So, thank you. I'm gonna take care of your drinks tonight. Do something like that. Maybe send a little note card of a thank you, drop a Starbucks card in it or wherever their favorite coffee shop is. Just something to let them know you appreciate what they did for you because they brought you business. Now, here's the key, here's the catch to it. Send it to them for the referral, not for the business. I'm going to say that again. Send it to them for the referral, not for the business. Referral may not work out. It's not their fault. That has nothing to do with it. They thought of you. They knew somebody. They gave you the opportunity. Whether that person was ready, whether you blew the opportunity, whether it just wasn't right, whatever the reason it is, whether it works or doesn't work, has no bearing on it. You're rewarding the act, them giving you the referral. Make sense? It's two different things. So refer the act of getting the referral. And then, of course, last but not least, we want reviews. We want testimonials, right? How many have gone on Yelp or something like that, given a review for your restaurant, giving your 1-star, 5-star, whatever it may have been? We want the same thing from us. So once you're done working with the client, this would be more around the closing time. Oh, by the way, closing's okay. You should be asking at the end of the closing too, because they just closed and they're super excited because the seller just got that check or the buyer just got the home of their dreams, whatever. That's another place to ask for the referral. This is also where you want the testimonials. Testimonials are key because you're going to use them. No different than when we ask you for testimonials. We put our QR code up there and go, hey, we could use feedback. How are we doing? How's the program? Really, the testimony is about us, the instructors, but how are we doing? Did you like it? Did you get anything from it or all that? Keep that same mindset with your clients and ask them for testimonials. Make sure you're getting the right testimonial for the right subject as well. Okay. A 5-star rating is one thing. Make sure you can get something in writing as well. We want something that people can read because I want this testimonial and I'm going to use it for what? I'm going to use it. I'll answer it. You put your keyboard away. I'll get it after. It's all good. I want to use it for marketing. Exactly. I want to put it out there. This is what people are saying about me. Okay. This is going back to your credibility, your worth, your value. Everything is in there. So the more testimonials I can get, the better it's going to be because I'm going to put that out there. So when you're doing this, keep in mind that you want seller oriented reviews for sellers. And you want language that talks about the client's home sold quickly, they got their asking price or above, they were impressed with service. Any of those various things from a seller's mindset. Try not to let it be as simple like, oh, it was a great experience, right? You might as well just said, I didn't do good at all. You want it to be a little bit more specific. You could, in reality, when you send out your testimonial request, you could put in other testimonials. So like, here's what others have said. Here's what our home sellers have said. Here's what other buyers have said. So you can prompt them with, they'll pick something somebody else said or a version of it, and then they're going to be more likely to write it. Okay. Same thing with the buyer-oriented reviews. Buyer-oriented reviews, the buyer found their perfect home quickly. The agent negotiated a great price. The transaction went smoothly. They were impressed by the service. So make sure that we're getting relevant reviews on that particular buyer, and then we're going to collect them and we're going to use them. Before I get into ahas for this one section here, what's the best way to collect reviews or testimonials? What do you guys think? There really isn't a wrong answer. I'm not going to say there is. Just what do you guys think is the best way to get reviews and testimonials? To capture them, I should say. Where do we want to capture them? Where do we want them at? Where do we want them living at? Yes, we're going to ask, but once we ask, okay, there you go, Thomas. Google. Everyone needs to get a Google business account. Okay. Get a business account, get it set up, and start collecting your reviews on Google. I encourage you to use Google because most people are going to use Google for this. And that's going to be and if you have the Google business, it's going to pop up when they search your name, and it's going to be you, and it's going to be all your stuff. There is a lot of stuff you can do with that Google My Business as far as marketing goes as well. It will support you. How many of you want your testimonials on your personal website, your KW website? Is that an option? Is that something you want? Terry, was somebody get a touchdown or something? What was that? Yes, I want them on my website. Okay. Yes, we want them on our website. I'm not a firm believer in websites in the traditional sense. I go against the grain on that. I don't think they're as important anymore as they used to be. That's just my personal belief. I think it's a final place for people to go to validate that you're a real estate agent and you're in business because you got a website. They're going to look at social media. I think we talked about this in other classes. They're going to go there first to find out who you are and what you are. You can't, you shouldn't, you won't send one client 5 links for a testimonial. I need you to go to my Google. I need you to go to my Facebook. I need you to go to my Instagram. I need you to go to my website, and I need you to go to Yelp or whatever. You're not going to do that to them. You're going to send them one link for one review. Send them to Google. Then you're going to go to Google. You're going to see how many stars they gave you. You're going to capture what they wrote about you. And then you can take that and go throw it any place else you want. You can do that work. And it's nothing. The reason is because on most all the other sites, with the exception of Facebook, probably, anybody can go and kind of do it. But on Google, you need to be signed in. So I can't just send out an arbitrary, for example, the QR code we give you guys. That's just an arbitrary, whatever they use, monkey something or whatever it is they use for those surveys. That's a generic thing that goes to a platform. Those can't be taken now and thrown in Google because for it to be a valid thing, it's got to come from that I got to do it from my Google account. You got to do it from your Google account. So I would say do it from Google. Now, is Google the best testimonial, or is there a better testimonial you can get? Let me ask this. When you get to the closing table, and some of you probably haven't been to the closing table, that's fine. I know you know people that have, and you've seen them on social media. What do the bulk of agents do after closing? I'm trying to keep it a little generic. I'll go give you more and more hints. So stand here with the bottle of champagne, photos. Stand here with the champagne, stand here with my just closed sign, just sold sign. Let me take a couple pictures. I'm going to go post them and say, I'm an amazing agent. I've sold 10 homes this month. And here's my latest happy couple, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Nobody cares. Okay, they kind of care. It's not so much as the care as the impact. What would it look like? And I know this for a fact, at least in my office, we have a celebration room our title company has. They go back there, there's confetti bombs, there's champagne, there's photos, there's boomerangs, there's all kinds of stuff. And I would say 99% of the agents that go back there and do that stay in that room for 15 minutes or more talking to their clients after closing. Sometimes they're just sitting around or just shooting the breeze because they know each other. Other times somebody's a little bit emotional, or the agent gets in a conversation like, all right, so you got all this, like they get them up to, when's the moving truck? Oh, we got an hour before they get there. We're not in a hurry. We're going to do some lunch first, whatever the scenario is. My people spend time in that room. Rather than having that generic question, what would it look like for the agent to break out a camera and say, would you mind doing me a favor? Absolutely, Matt. This has been the greatest day of my life. Great. Can I shoot a quick video of you talking about your experience? You can prompt them. You go, I'm just looking for 15 seconds, 20 seconds. How was your experience? How satisfied are you? It's my testimonial. Now, if I'm throwing out a photo, a static photo of my people or the boomerangs, do we still do those? Is that even a thing? I don't even boomerangs even real anymore, right? Compared to, oh my God, we just bought our house and it was amazing. I got to tell you, Matt did a great job. What if that became it? It was an actual video testimonial. Then you said, hey, I'm going to send you an email later. Can you also just go to my Google and do something as well? Just get it done in the next couple of days. No rush, because I know you guys are going to move in. Now I got a Google review and I got a video that I can actually send out. And it's not me saying how great I am. It's somebody else saying how great I am. What are your thoughts on that? Speaking of thoughts, this is where it comes into the ahas. This is your chance to go live and share your, I don't know, I feel like doing a Casey Kasem thing, dedicating a song or something like that. So video is the way of the future. I think I've talked about this. I talk about it in almost every training that I do. And I don't know if I mentioned to you guys in past nights I've been with you or not. Video is where it's at. We want to see the videos. So what if your testimonials were video based versus static photos and you saying how great you are in selling houses, right? So think about that. All right, questions, thoughts, ahas, takeaways. The big moment in time. Mr. Brown's over there calling out touchdowns today, and it's baseball season, but it's good. It's okay. You're getting ready. I appreciate that. That's the excitement's there. That's all that matters. All right. So let's get into success with buyers and success with sellers. You guys have seen this already for the most part, right? What buyers want most from their agent. I think I'm the one that talked about this, right? They want help finding. They want help finding the right home. They want help negotiations, the terms of the sale. They want help with price negotiations. And then there's the other category. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this back up for you, Andrew. This is where you need to live. We're going to spend some time in this spot because this is probably the most important thing you need to do to service your clients, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And it's called a needs analysis. This is where you ask the questions. And one of the biggest things you can do is ask the hard questions. Don't go light, go deep. All right. Anybody on here? Any of us friends on Facebook in any way, shape, or form? If not, that's cool. I'm all right with that. I'm just curious. Because I posted today. Are we friends, Andrew, on Facebook? I posted today that $20 a month for therapy. Okay. I didn't put it on Instagram, I put it on Facebook. $20 a day. I should bring it up and show it to you guys. $20 a day, because I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Let me find my Facebook real quick. And I'll show you what this looks like. Let me hit the laptop screen. Let me do this. Let me throw this up here. All right, see this right here? Oh, that's not. Is that showing up to you guys or no? Yeah. No. You guys can't see my Facebook, can you? No, you can't because it's different. Son of a gun. All right, I'll just tell you what it says. I don't have it set up to see my Facebook as a capture. So I posted today, $20 a month for therapy. Who knew? Just a sample of a coaching session with ChatGPT. How would you answer this question? I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this, okay? When you've been this close to a big vision before, what's been your Achilles heel? What's the one pattern that has stopped you from going all in or staying consistent when something big was within reach? That is a question that ChatGPT gave me today in an activity I was doing. And it's a very big and a very deep question. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Could you guys see that? I had something blocking my screen. Hold on. What happened to my Facebook? Let me put it up so you guys, because it's a great little clip that I put up here too. Oh, yeah, you guys can see that. Let's see your comments sitting down. So I put this out there. This is where the needs analysis comes in. You need to know for yourself, you need to do your own needs analysis, to be honest with you. Okay. But your needs analysis for your buyers comes into and your sellers comes into what is it that they actually truly need. And then this is where the hard questions come in, because you need to be able to go in and ask them the stuff that they don't want to answer. Okay. Simple questions to start. Who's going to be living in the home? Who's the decision makers? How many kids? How many pets? Oh, funny story real quick, speaking of the pets things. You're going to get leads. And Andrew, when you first said something about you got someone your the lead thing, the notification for the home valuation. But this has not come up this yet in this quarter. So I'll just bring it up now. You can and you will get bad fake leads, scam leads through command. It's scam stuff that goes through the websites. Trust me, you'll know it as soon as you see it. The name's a dead giveaway. It's like in all capital letters. It's just, you'll know it as soon as you see it. The reason I bring that up is I got something from somebody, a text message, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. And the number wouldn't come up when I looked the number up. It just, when I called it the first time, it wouldn't go through and said, this number's not in service. I'm like, this just seems sketchy. So I asked ChatGPT to help me with a text message back and wanted to roast it a little bit and find out how serious it was. And I sent a message back of, yeah, I'd love to help you out. Are you looking to buy with a pet llama? Are you relocating from Mars? It's like 3 really far out questions. And the last one was like, if you're serious, then let's talk. And the guy came back like, he's an investor. And his phone skills just were horrible because he didn't answer any questions. It was sketchy as could be. So I finally picked the phone up and called him, and this time it went through. I don't know why I didn't go through the first time. Blew his mind because I called him. But my point is, those are the examples that we have to do the hard thing sometimes, right? So a needs analysis is a deep dive into what your client needs. Surface level: how many people are in the home? Who are the decision makers? What are your non-negotiables? Like, what are your must-haves versus what you'll let go, right? We call it the top 5, all right? How many top 5, what are your top 5 things you want in a home? Beyond your top 5, what is the other things you really want? Or do you have a preference for the year of the house? Some people don't want a house built before 2000, right? Some don't want a house built before 2020, whatever the case may be. You're gonna pay for that, by the way, based on the year it was built. Do you want a house move-in condition, or are you willing to do some work? When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? Like, what's the vibe they want around it? Are there any specific features that you would make that would make your next house feel like a home? And will you require accessibility options? Those are surface level, in my opinion. So, Andrew, back to you. Your needs analysis now is: do you have a home to sell? Surface level. Do you have a home to sell? Yes, I do. Do you need to sell it in order to buy? It's one of the questions that a lot of people don't think about. And we're like, well, kind of. Well, what does kind of mean? Right? We don't take the first answer and run with it. You always want to ask additional questions based on the answer they give. So, Andrew, when you call this person up, say, I want to come to the house, I want to check things out. And when you get there, just go, are you looking to sell in order to buy? Like, I already know you're looking to buy. Why now are you looking at this? Because there could be a financial factor into this. They may be thinking, well, if I get my house in the market, then I'm going to have more money. So I might be able to put more down on something, or I'm going to have more money. It's going to change my price point. So now, instead of me buying without selling and carrying 2 mortgages and being at a purchase price of $450,000, I can sell. Now my pre-approval just went up to 600,000 or whatever their scenario is. So we need to always go deeper into our questioning when we're doing with a needs analysis. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a buyer or seller, we need to be asking the questions. The number one thing I get from agents is they're afraid or resistance to having the financial conversation. If there's anything I can tell you about a needs analysis, you need to dig into the finances. How much money do you have? How much money you have put away? And now I'm asking it very blunt. There are right ways to ask these questions. What is your financial situation? Here's the reason I'm asking that question. I need to know where you're at financially so I can negotiate on your behalf. I need to know what you can and can't do. So when you bring me a property, I go, remember you told me you only had $50,000 in the savings. We can't go above that. This house is going to break that. Oh, okay, never mind. Right? Or do you have your cash in the bank that the lender wants? Like, you're not going to get deep as far as the finances as a lender would, yet you still need to know. And a lot of agents feel like, well, nobody's going to tell me. They're going to tell you. I did this with an agent about 2 years ago, and he listened and he went and did it. And he's like, I cannot believe everything they shared with me. And they did it all by text because the person they were talking to was a texter, and they got all of their stuff by text. And they knew exactly how much money there was in play and all of that. So in your needs analysis, this is just the basic, simple stuff. You need to always go deeper into your questioning, because that's how you're going to know what their true capabilities are. And you're going to find out their commitment level. Here's the funny thing about this, though. Okay. No matter how many times you do this needs analysis, no matter how many times you ask the questions, and you are my little cursor thing is not, well, my little thing. What? My stuff disappeared. Oh man, sorry, I'll get it back. You're not going to get the right answer the first go around, you always need to make sure that you have, oh, there it is. You have all the everything you need without worrying about it, basically. So, oh, sorry, I lost what I was looking for on my screen because I got too many things open. What I wanted to say was your needs analysis is going to be great when you sit down and do it at the consultation. Your best buyer consultation, your absolute best buyer consultation you're ever going to have in your life is at the first or second home you show them. Because when you sit down with them and you don't ask enough questions in the needs analysis, they're going to give you the caviar dreams on a hot dog budget stuff. Like, I want all of this stuff and it's non-negotiable because, they're excited about buying a home. Once you get out to the homes and they start seeing what they can get in their price point or can't get in the price point with what they want, that's when they start having reality. That's where you're going to have your second buyer consultation. First consultation is always going to be in the office or wherever you're going to meet them. Your real one, which is going to be your second one, is always going to be at home. Needs analysis also, this is going to change throughout the time you're with them. Why would the needs analysis change? Why would the answers change in their needs analysis throughout the transaction? It won't every time, but potentially it can change. What would make it change? Here's what's going to make it change. Buyers' lives change or the world changes. We already know that a consumer is going to act in the real estate market based on what? Life events, right? Life events, job changes, financial changes, kids out, new kids coming in, whatever the scenario is. During the time you're working with the client, they can have a life-changing situation. Maybe somebody's getting a new job and they're getting a promotion and they were told, hey, this is going to happen in the next 3 months, whatever the case may be. What if all of a sudden it came into, oh no, it's happening now and you need to make this change now? So that person that was going to relocate from out of state, who was 3 months out, is now scurrying and going, no, I need to do it today because I got to be in state next week. Like, what am I going to do? So being on top of your questions that you normally ask to find out where they're sitting in their forever changing and evolving life is super important. All right. Like I already mentioned, the tough conversations. The tougher the conversation, the better fiduciary that you're providing to them. Okay. The more rapport, the better the relationship's going to be. If you're not afraid to have that hard conversation, they're not going to like it. Right? Who's got kids or dogs? Doesn't matter. They don't listen, right? Let's be honest. They don't listen to us. But if they go to the neighbor's house and their parent tells them, yeah, don't jump off a bridge because somebody said jump off a bridge. They're going to come and go, oh, guess what? I shouldn't jump off a bridge because somebody jumps off a bridge. We talked about that like a month ago and you told me to shut up. Like, consumers are going to be the same way. They're going to hear from other people. But if you're in there having those tough conversations, they're going to appreciate it more than they realize. So honesty, transparency, vulnerability, you give that to them, they're going to give it back to you. All right. Have those tough questions. Showing homes. Showing homes. There is a process for showing homes. In here, show homes based on the needs analysis. Yes, 100% show based on the needs analysis. Until you get to the home and find out that their top 5 really isn't their top 5. Okay, like I said earlier, your buyer consultation is going to happen at the first or second showing. So they're going to actually be in the trenches doing this. So best practice for showing homes, obviously show them homes that are in their price point, in the requirements, the guidelines that they set forth. Now, with that said, you are not only going to show them homes that are in their criteria. Why do you think that is? They said it. We are going to look at a house between 4 and 450. It's got to be 4 bedrooms. It's got to be 2.5 baths, and it's got to have a garage. That's the basic criteria. And I'm looking for that inside the MLS, and that's what I'm going to show them. And I bet you a dozen donuts right now. I'm gonna show them stuff that is not in that same criteria. And there's 2 reasons why. What's the number one reason? Because they're sending you everything they come across, even when it's out of their budget. Hands down, you're going to get messages. I want to go see this one, Matt. And you're going to look at it and you're going to go, it's 525,000. They didn't want to go over 450. And you're going to call them out on it. And guess what you're going to find out? Oh, well, we talked to our parents and they're going to gift us $15,000 so we can up our price point because we haven't been able to find anything in a price point. So they're going to help us out, right? Brian champagne taste on a beer budget. Yeah, there's that factor too. They just want to go see everything. There's also that life factor. Now they may be willing to spend more money because something changed in their lives. There's another factor. If you know the market as well as you should, you're going to know when a home is overpriced. So you yourself may say, hey, Brian, found a house I want you to go see. Man, that thing's at 500. Told you we can't go over 550. I know. I think it's madly overpriced. I'm not going to say we're going to be able to get it down. And I still want you to take a look at it because I'll work the agent a little bit on the back end if you like it and see what we can do. Because we might be able to get it down because I completely think it's overpriced. Nothing in that neighborhood has sold for that. Everything in that neighborhood is sold for 450 or less, and they're at 500. So either they're really desperate for the money or somebody's just out of their gourd. Yet, if you like it, I'll work the back end and see what I can do. We don't have to make any offers, just let me see what I can do. Or in that case, just call the agent up and start having a conversation. I share this story with everybody as well. I've done this. I had clients that had a max of 650,000 because at the time it would put them into a jumbo loan, which completely changes interest rates. And we had a house that was 725, 725. I think it was 725. And it was almost everything. I think it was a little much and it still fit their criteria. It was a lot of land, it was a farm. And I ran comps, very unique home, very, very unique home. I ran comps. That's what kind of price I came up with. You guys are going to love this story. My comps got me to 575,000 on a 750,000 house. I found nothing that supported that price in any way, shape, or form. So I called the listing agent up and I was like, hey, they like it. It's not worth that. They go, I don't want to offend anybody with the offer we're going to make. When I look at the comps, I'm nowhere near that. And the agent went, send it. Because the wife and I are on the same page, it's the husband you have to convince. So I sent a $570,000 offer on a 700 and something, 700, I think it's 725 on a 725 house. What do you think happened with that deal? Remember we talked about expectations and problem solving? So no, we didn't buy it. The husband countered back at full price, 7 something, which I expected. I was just like, it's not there. I said, do me a favor, get an appraisal. Because it was a very unique house. So at like 2-3 weeks later, they came back and it appraised for 650. So I wasn't that far off. That's in the middle of what we said, what they were. We were willing to go up about 625, but 650 hit that jumbo loan. We couldn't do it. So I need to know what their stuff is, and their needs are going to change all the time. So I'm not going to show houses that's within their budget because it might change. Have MLS listings. I do this when I show buyers properties. There is in your MLS, there should be a client copy that you can print out. So it keeps the listing agent's name off of it, but it gives them all the details. I print one out for every property we go to. When I get to the property, I give them the listing for that property and no other property. I don't go to the first one and go, we're going to see today. I only give them the one listing for that property and I make sure they have a pen. And I let them know, here's this listing, here's this property, make notes on this paper. This way, when we're done at the end of the day, you'll have all your notes on the property itself versus the napkin or whatever. And you can't remember which note went to which property. Okay. Mark properties on a map and answer location questions. I'm not really worried about marking on a map nowadays with GPS. This is a little bit outdated. However, answering local questions. How confident are you guys about local questions? Particularly if you don't really know the neighborhood. Like, it's in Maryland. I've heard the name. I've driven through it. I just don't know enough about it. How do you learn about a neighborhood that you probably won't spend a lot of time in, yet you want to know enough about it so that when you get there, you sound really good and look really good? How do we do that? Let me give you a hint. Or just the answer? How about just the answer? So we have this great resource called RPR. NAR, RPR. I know I've given it to you guys before. What this is, let me go back to home because I already went in here and played with this a little bit. What this is, it's like a MLS version, but it has a lot more to it. If you really need to know about a neighborhood that you haven't been in, you know the needs analysis, you know what's important to these clients, you can go in here, go into the research tab, and just hit a map search. Now, if your GPS is on, it's going to take you to where you live. I'm going to zoom out on this map a little bit so I get my primary shopping area and my little Potunk area. So here's my general area. I'm going to go over on this map over on the right-hand side, and you see this little icon, map icon, and it says POI. POI is points of interest. If I click on points of interest, I can now go in here and go, okay, what's important to my people? You know what? I know they said finding a new daycare is important. I know that they like to go out. They're shoppers and diners. The schools were important. And let me see, what else did they say to me that was important? Oh yeah, the shopping part. I almost forgot about that. Let me go and put that in here too. And man, they want to be close to, I don't have any of these close to, well, I do actually. I got one, but it's up the road. So they want to be close to an airport. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to mark off all these points of interest. And if you look at my map, guess what? It is lit up with everything now. So if I go in and I zoom in on this map now, I can say, okay, we're going to go look at a house. We're going to go look at townhouses over here. So what does that mean? Okay, great. What that means is right up here, I'll zoom in just a tad bit more. I know, and I know this already. So Jimmy Cone's in there, which is our ice cream place. Curves for Women's in there. Food Lion's in there. Phelps Company is in there, which is, oh, that's the Ace. So Phelps Company. So that's the hardware store. What's over here on this little dot? I click on this. Oh, there's the barbecue joint. There's barbecues. Oh, here's a whole building with 10 different things in it. What's in here? I can go through here and I can get an idea of what's in this area. Oh, by the way, there's Walmart right here. That's beneficial. There's a Safeway. I got 2 grocery stores right here. So now I can go into a neighborhood and go, you know, just up the street. Obviously, I'm going to see it when I pass by. And if I can name the little things inside of there, some little obscure thing, they're gonna go, oh, I didn't see that when I drove through. Oh, it's over in the shopping center over there next to such and such. You can pre-do this stuff. I can go right here and click on this. And right here is Mount Airy Daycare Early Learning Center. So there's a daycare right here, and they're looking at townhouses right over here. I know there's another daycare over here, which is the Goddard School, but let's say I didn't know that. So you can go into these other resources and get this information so that you guys can be on top of what's going on so that you are looking better and better every time you go out with your clients. All right. Little bonus information right there. And that also helps your knowledge about the property and the neighborhoods, see what you can find out about the community. Include recent comparable sales. This is your personal preference. I don't do this. I don't, unless I know they're super serious and I've been working for somebody for a while, I'm not necessarily going to look at comps. I might take a quick snapshot and say, there's 2 that are under the contract, or hey, this is the only one in the neighborhood. And I can tell you that one of the last ones sold for this. I might take a look at that. I'll probably just look it up on my phone real quick. So if they're not super serious, I'm not going to put a lot of energy into it. And when I get out there and I find they're serious, we have the apps to make it even easier for us to do stuff. So keep that in mind as well. Point out potential issues and concerns with each house. With this, I'm going to caution you. We don't want to go in and trash talk the house, because you can change the tone of the buyer. When we're talking about issues and concerns, I think the recommendation should be more along the lines of, hey, look, definitely don't worry about cosmetics. I mean, you say, look, your place needs a paint job. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not looking at structural mechanical too much, but if I see like, hey, there's a wet, appears to be a wet spot. Remember, it's how we say things, up in that ceiling, and the bathroom is right above. I'm gonna have to find out, maybe it was a previous leak, they just never patched anything, or it could be an active leak now. But don't worry, that doesn't look like it's a major thing. And when the home inspector comes in, they're going to be able to evaluate it further. So don't let that stop you, because we can always find out what it is. Now, if there's more than one, like, don't let it stop you, then you might want to actually have the conversation of like, is it worth taking on the project? You want it move-in ready. This one looks like it's got some work done to it. So be cautious about how you do that, because you don't want to really trash the house and then really push them away, because you can end up changing their tone completely, particularly if their budget falls into they're getting a lot of like questionable homes. You can shut them off completely at that point to where they're not even going to buy. So use caution when you're giving feedback on the properties. Showing homes means agent interaction. This just means you got to talk to your peers. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not all as good as you. That's all I'm going to say about that. They're all not as good as you. Bite your tongue, call a friend after you get off the phone with them, and vent after the fact. Don't vent to them, because they don't understand. My business partner calls me almost every day. He did it today, and I got to walk him off the ledge every time. Be courteous, be polite, be respectful, ask questions, share what you're legally allowed to share. You're going to get agents that are going to call you up and ask questions that you don't have permission to share from the seller. You don't have permission to share from the buyer. They're not actually even legally entitled to know that information. How much money they got to buy this house. You have a pre-approval letter. That's all you need to worry about. So be mindful, be respectful, be courteous. Come up with a talk track around what you want that to look like when you're talking to your co-brokers, and how you want things to happen. Home tour kit. Make sure you're carrying certain things around. I'm not pressed about most of this, except a potential first aid kit, a flashlight, tape measure. I would invest in a digital tape measure. I actually have mine sitting right here. Something like this, because you can measure a room real quick without actually having to break out the tape measure. And you only brought a 12-foot tape measure, and the room's 35 feet long or something like that. It gets embarrassing. And paper goods category, toilet paper, particularly when they're vacant homes. When nature calls, folks. All right. Flashlight, definitely, particularly when you get into some of the older homes, you want to look at crawl spaces. You got the guy that wants to look at everything, or even the lady that wants to look at everything, whatever it might be. You might need a flashlight. I keep a lot of these with me. Some of them you might not. Again, this is how do you want to run your business. You want to keep beverages in your car, so that when people get thirsty or something like that, or need a snack, you can break. Here you go, right? Where my mom's at the soccer field or my dad's at the ball field, we know how to do that. If you want to do it, do it. Okay. Safety first when showing homes. This is kind of a bigger conversation than probably what this slide will, be allotted time. They're like, give 2 minutes on this. This is a wide variety of things. One, with the camera up there, in today's age, know that there's a camera on every home. Assume there's a camera on every home. The one I'm selling right now, I didn't realize it until I went and did the photos. He's got a camera in the tree looking at the back of the house. He's got one over the garage. He's got one on the edge of the garage. He's got one on the back corner. I think he's got 8 cameras. And he did nothing but brag about it's a safe neighborhood and it's great. He goes, I know I'm a paranoid person. That's why I got all the cameras. Well, you're not really selling the safety thing with all these cameras. The big thing with cameras, though, is that they're on in the recording. You don't want to talk in front of the house. So you need to let your clients know ahead of time. When we get to a home, you're not going to talk about the home because we never know where there's going to be cameras. And we don't want a seller hearing something that you say, which could lose or impact our negotiation skills. Okay. Secondary when it comes to safety is when you're out showing homes. Take somebody with you if you want. If you feel better having a second person with you, same thing at open houses, have a second person with you. At the very least, let somebody know where you're going. Your expected time to be at any given house. Maybe do a random check-in. Centric key for those that use Centric key. I don't know if it's nationwide. I think it is. Centric key when you go in and you're using there's a feature that you can set showing time on it to where you start the showing clock and it's allotted for 30 minutes. But at the end of the 30 minutes, you have to like say I'm good, or it automatically will call your emergency contact. So keep your safety and security in mind when you're showing homes and doing open houses as a whole. Job equals sell homes, job no equals sell homes. In short, remember your goal is to sell a home, not show homes. That goes back to the whole thing about pointing things out. Your job is to sell it and get the buyer in a home. So be cautious about how you do things and how you say things. You want to be honest about it. You just don't want to scare people. That's the home inspector's job. Actually, it's not, but they're really good at doing it. So if you don't sell it, then you're not making any money. So you really don't have a job. So your job's to sell, not show, because you're not getting paid to show homes. Okay. Unless you're a Redfin showing agent, then you're making like $50, $75 a door. Reason why buyers hesitate goes back into your needs analysis. If you do a good proper needs analysis and you stay on top of the questions throughout the transaction, you'll get less hesitation and more action. However, when there is hesitation, you're going to go back into your needs analysis. You're going to find out why. They're afraid of commitment. They don't like some of the minor details. Again, it needs paint, it needs carpet. Those are minor. Spend $100, $200, get someone to come in and steam clean the carpets until you got money to replace it, or figure out how to get all this done before you move into it, set painters up, whatever the case may be. Always come with solutions. So remember earlier when we talked about peace of mind, one of your peace of minds is you want to be upfront, you want to be honest, right? Hey, Andrew, something come up in the deal. Don't worry. Here's what I recommend we do. You don't want to hide the fact that something came up. You want to have a solution for everything. Same thing in their hesitations. What's the hesitation? Here's the solution. Right? They feel they haven't seen enough homes. That's a hard one to handle and manage as an objection, in my opinion, just because have they not? I think after 10, you've seen enough. And if you didn't pick one of those 10, then you're probably not going to find what you want. You can keep looking. It's just going to get worse from here on out until the market opens up, particularly in this market. Now, there's a lot of homes out there, then you might see 15 or 20 homes. Brian, what's your average with buyers, you think? How many homes do you think you show people before they actually
10 to 12.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I haven't done any buyers in a while. My track record is pretty much 5 or less. If I get up to 10, then I've done something wrong.
We've got
There's
so much inventory here and so many options for them to look at. It's
don't have
oftentimes
that
it's hard to get them to narrow down.
And that's what we're going to see, like we talked about after the first year, if these rate change and the market change, we could see a lot of inventory where people are like, they're not going anywhere. Let's go look at a few others, right? You got to have a talk track around that. Because even if they go, hey, it will be there, it might not be, because here's the thing. 4 other people said the same thing 2 days ago. They're about ready to circle back to that house now because nobody else has done it. So if you walk, the people that walked 2 days ago are on their way back. So you need to decide if this is the right one or not, plain and simple. So this is one of the best objections that you're ever going to get, in my opinion. It's kind of like a standard, and it's a standard in training and coaching as well. They need to sleep on it. Or they got to get the opinion of a trusted advisor. When they say I got to go talk to dad, just know it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen, probably, especially if dad shows up to the inspection, we're all in trouble, all right? Guidelines to facilitate decision making. Always go back to their motivation. Again, your needs analysis is going to identify motivation. And from that, we're always going to refer to it, right? You're relocating, you need to be here in a certain amount of time. It's going to take us 30 days to settle. You're running out of time, right? There's nothing wrong with being direct in that aspect. Go back to their needs and wants. Look, is it a need or is it a want? Are you stuck on this house because you want it and you're not getting it? Or are you stuck because it's actually something you need? Same thing with consultant, somebody else. So you're going to advise as a fiduciary, but going back to the consulting somebody else, who's going to live in the home? I tell agents all the time, man, who's living in the home? I'm not going to ask them that. You should, because they're being influenced by somebody who has no say in it. There's a right way to do it. Practice your talk tracks when you do that. But you're always a consultant. It's never like, well, if I were you, I would do this. It's always, look, what I see buyers do is they get to this point where they start having troubles making a decision, and here's some of the reasons why they're having trouble making a decision, and list them out. Again, go back to Phil Jones's book. Like, there's two types of people in the world, right? You have three options. That's one of his magic words. You have three options. One, you don't do anything. Two, you take action. Or three, you sit on it, which means nothing's going to happen anyways. So really, you only have one option. And there's a way to form that drives them to the positive results on it. Acknowledge their fears. Like, look, I get it. I understand. Again, I do this all the time. Buyers are always concerned. They always have questions. They're always second guessing, whatever that looks like. And again, solve their challenges. Always have a solution. Never bring another problem to the problem. Always listen. That old saying of, we got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So make sure we're listening to them and we're understanding where they're at, so that we can go, well, how about this for a solution? Right? I already know this is this and this. We've already done this. Sometimes it's a simple aspect of, let me call the listing agent. Let me call the listing agent and ask a couple of questions about your concerns and see if we can get them resolved now before we even put the offer. Because there might be just an unknown. And if I ask the question, they're going to go, oh, yeah, no, they're willing to do that and do that there. That's fine. You know, and they're like, they just said, yeah, so let's put this offer in and see what happens with it, right? And again, like we talked about earlier, calculate the cost in waiting. Like, if you wait, what's it going to cost you? Potentially, you could have a larger down payment. Interest rates could change, especially right now. Rates are changing on a regular basis. So waiting a day or two really could change rates, and you can get locked into something bad or not as good as you actually hope you would get. So, thoughts, ahas, takeaways, pain, sorrow, joy, all the above. We got about 10 minutes left, and kind of about it. We got a couple seller things to go over, but I kind of talked about those already. So I'm going to kind of blitz through a couple of them and stop on a couple in the last couple minutes here. But you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any takeaways, anything that's making you go, this is great, this is terrible, any of the above?
The property information that you provided, that was pretty helpful.
Yeah, again, don't overload them. So they're going to get their
Okay.
homes confused. Our goal is to keep them organized and processed, because buyers, they're scatterbrained anyways, because they're looking at everything. Like, you think you get into the MLS and look at properties, your buyer literally is on their phone all day long. Probably if you got a real true active buyer, they're on Zillow more than they are TikTok. That should say something. Even that'd be a great question. Let me ask you a question. Do you do TikTok? They're gonna go, oh yeah, I get sucked into it. Where do you spend more time, TikTok or Zillow? Oh, Zillow. I actually, similar question, wasn't the exact way, but I actually had somebody said I'm on Zillow like every 5 minutes. Like, homes don't pop up like that. Like, check it every couple days, not every 5 minutes. It doesn't really change that much like that. So, all right, so let's hit some seller stuff. You guys already know what sellers want. We've already talked about the needs. The sellers just change because it's more about the price and the time frame, right? And the conveyance, what's going to happen in that conveyance? What stays, what goes, and what are we negotiating? So you're still doing the same stuff that you did with the buyer in this needs analysis. You're just changing the thing. Instead of somebody moving in, you're talking about somebody moving out. And it's got to meet their time frame, right? Buyers are already kind of working on their time frame and they're willing to do things and wait longer or go earlier. Sellers can be a little bit more, no, I can't do anything until here. Yet everything's negotiable, right? Same rule applies with sellers as well. What is the impacts in their needs analysis? It's something in their life changes or something in the world changes. Some of the analogies and some of the examples they give in the course is like, during COVID, was there a world pandemic? Is there a natural disaster? Those are world events. I'd say 95% of the time or more, it's always going to be a life event. That's going to change their life and change their needs at the time that it happens. Seller's control. There are two things a seller control, and it's price and condition. What that means is you're going to price a home based on the condition, and you're going to get the price on the home based on the condition. So right now, the home I've got on the market, we have it priced because he's selling as is. He's not going to do anything to it. The house is completely move-in. Just needs a good deep clean, and you can live in it. Doesn't need updating and upgrading. Yeah, the bathrooms could use some work. The floors could use some work. Carpet and the carpet and the tiles in the bathroom could use some work. And I said, I was some painting. It'd be nice. It's a 1997 house. It's got no overhead lighting, so it'd be nice to go in and put some ceiling fans in and overhead lighting in the rooms. That's little stuff. That's probably $10,000-$15,000 worth of work, but we have it priced aggressively because we know people are going to be looking at it in that light. So we're priced based on condition. But if my condition is great, I'm going to price differently. Or my buyers are going to come in and offer me a lot more because of that, right? Sensitive seller conversations. Just did this. Matter of fact, I bought an ozone machine. I bought a little thing on Amazon that's supposed to do, I think it's like 2,000 square feet or something like that. Odors. John and I, my partner and I, just did a house. His investor or flipper, where I probably would call him. They just did a house, and the guy smoked in it. Like literally, it was one of those ones where you go in and scrape the walls of the yellow because he smoked in the house so much. They went in completely, pretty much gutted it. And I never went in it when it was in that condition. I went in afterwards, and I walked in. I was like, "This is great." I walked down the steps. It's a split floor. I walked down the steps, and when I got to the last 4 steps to go to the basement, the little roof that angles, the little ceiling that angles down like this, I stopped in my tracks because it was just this slight whiff of smoke, and it was coming from right there in the wall right there. Now, we brought it up to Ted and Andy, and they went in a couple days later, and it wasn't there anymore. It hit me right away, and I told John, I said, go up the steps, wait 2 minutes, now go back down the steps, and just naturally breathe. And as soon as he got to that spot, he goes, "Oh, I smell it too." But it was only in one little spot, so it wasn't a big deal. Oh, we got to talk about odors from pets, smoking, mothballs, clutter, decluttering, depersonalizing. Throughout the country, guns in the house. It's a safety concern more than an image thing. However, you could have somebody who's against guns come in a house, well, I'm not buying this house because it's got guns in it. It's not like the guns are staying there, for goodness sake, but people make their decision based on that. I would say it's more of a safety concern that you have to have. And these are those tough conversations you need to have with the seller. What can we do about it? Cash, jewelry, other expensive items. What are we going to do about it? Right? You got to find a way to mitigate that. Great agent client communication. You're going to provide strong foundation again in that relationship and build on it. Set and manage expectations just like a buyer. There is a different set of expectations. This is kind of what I was telling you guys earlier. If a client violates fair housing, you're going to see it more on the sell side than the buy side. Just because it's who they want in their home. You need to take action on it. Terminate the agreement. I personally would have a conversation with them at first and be like, "Yo, dude, you can't do that. Like, no." And if they're still going to stick to it and they're going to still abide by it, then it's like, you know what? I'm taking your house off the market. You can hire somebody else. So you have the right to do that. So be mindful, because if you get caught up in the fair housing stuff, if you don't do something about it, you become complacent to it, you can get just as much as trouble. And I would almost guarantee you, honestly, if you fired this client and decided to go and do whatever, they are mad at you, they probably want to come back and say you did it. So it's about documenting, recording everything. Remember our Y4C2Ts. The biggest one in this is the win-win and integrity. Stick to it. Your integrity and the consumer's integrity. Step marketing plan for listings. So we work on the theory of your listing, your leads, and then you're going to leverage it. So create marketing plans that work for your client. Again, this is where the needs analysis comes in. With the changes, and particularly in my MLS, we've got some great workarounds, if you will, some leniency with the clear cooperation. And I can really create some really good marketing. And right now I'm in a coming soon status, but I'm off the internet, which means it's not syndicated to Zillow or anybody else. It's literally just in my MLS for agents to see. And I put that on Friday, and by Tuesday I've already had by yesterday, I've already had like 4 or 5 conversations with agents, and they're the only ones that see it. So I've got a unique marketing plan that I can do that really intensifies the actual potential that we can get out of this house. Even though I'm priced aggressively, I feel confident we're going to go well above where we're at right now. So message you put out to attract prospective buyers and sellers is everything. Why would they want to contact you in this market? What would they get if they did? These 2 questions are at the heart of all effective messaging. So keep that in mind when you're out there doing what you need to do. Your MLS listing reflects your brand, so get it right. Make sure your documents are on there. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we all get to put documents on, but to sum this up in short, know your MLS inside and out. Okay, Terry, I know I picked on you about the football thing, but know the football fans around here, or at least you like football. And where are my Bill Belichick haters? Where are my Patriot haters? Okay, or you like him. I think I don't know what type of guy he is, but I can tell you what kind of coach he is. He's a sneaky son of a gun, and he's super smart because he knew the NFL rules better than anybody else. I just had this conversation today. Matter of fact, I've had it twice this week already. Know your MLS better than any other agent so that you can work the MLS in your favor. There are things you can do that you probably don't know you can do, and there's things you're probably doing you shouldn't be doing. But know your MLS inside and out so you can work it to serve your client in the best possible way. Import listing data directly from KWLS. This will be in your tech stuff tomorrow as we go through this. So I won't get into any of that, which brings us to the end of our slides. So for those that don't remember my name, I did not take the time to fill this out. So we are in Ignite session 16. So when you hit that drop down, it's session 16. And I just put my name in the chat for those that don't remember what it is. And I can also do, oops, this. There you go. I'll put that up there as well. Let me go back to your thing though, so you can have that first. So you guys wouldn't mind scanning that and providing feedback as we talked about previously. And while you're doing that, questions, comments, excitement, joy, pain, sorrow, tears, or laughter, all the above. How are we feeling tonight? How are we feeling as we approach the end of week 4, getting close to the end of Ignite?
Lots of good information. I feel a little more confident than I did before. So just excited to get some more knowledge and use it. Thank you.
That's our goal. Thank you much for sharing that. Anyone else? Awesome session. Thank you, Terry. Exhausted? Would I bore you or something? You know he got tired. He stopped typing.
No, from Ignite. Not from you.
All right. What's one main takeaway? It is 11 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah. Shannon, where are you at? That you're doing this session in the same time zone as me.
Metuchen, New Jersey.
Ah, what are you doing in this time zone? On this?
I don't know. It's like
Okay.
it's 11 p.m. by me. Where are you
You know,
at?
I'm in Maryland. You know, there's an earlier session from 6 to 8 Eastern time, right?
No, I did not actually.
No, at your market center because they get the links to both of them. So you just got the wrong one.
No, they gave me this link, and like I said, the first I had a lot of trouble with it on and off constantly, but now I got it.
All right. Well, you're almost here. Just finish out the week with 7 people.
It is what it is.
See?
And besides, 6 o'clock is dinner time anyway, so
So it does work out better.
it does work out better.
Great. All right. I see Felicia's in Central, so it's 10 o'clock where you are. Perfect. All right, guys. Tomorrow night you're going to have Sarah. Sarah's going to do all your tech stuff. She's going to dive into some of the stuff that I'll kind of reference tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to follow up with her because I just redid her outline for tomorrow, and I realized I did forget some things. So I got to make another adjustment to her on the fly tomorrow morning and let her know so she's ready to go. Other than that, tell your friends that aren't here to come back and join us. We'd love to see them. And the rest of you, we'd love to see everybody back tomorrow and to finish out next week strong. So we finish this out all together. All right. Any questions? Any comments before I go? If not, feel free to reach out to me if there's anything you need. I'll put Hank up there for you. And yeah, other than that, have a great night. Thank you for your time and thank you for being here.